In these three positions, what's my answer in this position, in the overhead position? What muscle, what action is going to best train, or the strength needed to keep the shoulder blade or the shoulder in its socket in the overhead position? Probably an overhead pull or a vertical pull, pull-ups. Pull-ups become our answer. I'm going to talk about why cable pull-downs are not in a second. Okay? We need to train the body, the arms, through full range of motion under heavy load. Body weight is sufficient. Okay, if we can do body weight pull-ups all the way down, all the way up. We don't want to train the body in a shortened range of motion here, because then the muscles get chronically short. So we have to go through full range of motion. Full range of motion, traditional pull-ups are our sport-specific answer to shoulder stability, requisite, all right, to keep the shoulder in place at this first instant. Okay. Here, as the arm approaches 9 o'clock, the biceps is on fire. Well, again, the biceps fulfills two roles. It fulfills a compressive stabilizing role at the elbow, and it fulfills a compressive stabilizing role at the shoulder. A few things are necessary to make sure the shoulder is healthy in this position. Okay? The shoulder blade has to be in a good position, packed down and back. If the shoulder blade is up and forward, I put more stress on the biceps tendon. Okay, so part of the approach to keep the shoulder clear in this position is to actually reduce stress on the biceps first, okay, by attacking the biomechanics of the shoulder and not just looking at the activity of the biceps. So as my arm approaches 9 o'clock, if my shoulder blade is already in a bad position forward, okay, my strength training needs to pull me down and back to relieve stress and keep my body optimally aligned to go this way effortlessly. Okay, if my shoulder blade pops forward, my hand's behind me, I'm going to have to do some funky things with my arm. And that already hurts my shoulder, being in that position for too long. Do that enough and you're going to get some irritation in your biceps. So what exercises focus on keeping the shoulder blades down and back? Well, almost everything that we utilize. Pull-ups, shoulder blades pinched down and back. Rowing variation, shoulder blades pinched down and back. Set the shoulder blades. Push-ups. Okay? Push-ups. Push-ups are a great upper body exercise, better than bench press or better than a machine press, because the shoulder blades are allowed to move with movement of the arms. Okay? This action here, the movement of my shoulder blades as my arm moves into this position, is the same scapular loading that it takes to keep my arm in this slot, okay, up until the point of release. So strength training exercises that combine a load at the shoulder with proper movement of the shoulder blades are our answer. Right? Those are, those three body weight or machine, row assisted exercises: pull-ups, push-ups, and then any kind of row. Now, third thing, in third instant, here after release, what would my shoulder do? Okay, it would fly out of my socket this way. What position am I in? I'm like a horizontal rowing, rowing position. So this becomes our answer. And when we row from palms down to palms up, because that's exactly, we go from, in the throwing motion, I go from palms down, or palm up, to palms down, into internal rotation. So I'm going to take the shoulder joint, okay, palms down here to palms up, and then challenge the strength, the lengthening strength, the stopping strength, okay, as I reach. Okay, now my hands can be attached to bands, cables, the TRX. Want to be strong here, and then again, load the scapulas. Thumbs down, or palms down, palms up. Rotational rowing variations become very specific to the specificity of the muscular actions around the shoulder at release to follow through during the softball pitch. Okay? I forgot to talk about something. Yes. Pull downs, cable pull downs are not your best option, okay, for vertical pulling, right, for softball players, because you're most often stuck underneath like a leg pad, in which allows the athlete to use their hip flexors and not their core, okay, to stabilize the movement by pulling up onto that leg pad. When a softball athlete, all right, you overutilize their hip flexors during the softball movement. If I'm here, you're going to look at me from the side. What happens is if I can't allow my upper body to be super strong and super flexible and do all the things it needs to do because I'm gaining lower core stability from my hip flexors chronically, my butt is back, my back is arched, my chest is forward, and I remain in this like forward chest, forward head position throughout my delivery. Okay? We want to take as many opportunities during fitness training to release the hip flexors and challenge core stability. So when we're doing pull-ups, I have band-assisted variations. The emphasis is always to keep the legs long. And we harness stability through our core. Pull-ups are a great core training exercise, a great core training assessment. They assess the core's capacity to stabilize and allow the upper body to pull from it or to exert force from it. If you see your athletes kind of like climbing during pull-ups, you have to coach them or cue them to stay super long and harness stability from their core and not from their hip flexors. That's why I don't have a cable station here that utilizes one of those pads in which an athlete can gain stability from their hip flexors and not from their core. It's fine for bodybuilding, all right, when you're just looking for muscular development, but when you're trying to make the most of your time 1, 2, or 3 days a week in a weight room for 60 minutes or less, you want to use apply as many of these principles as possible. And releasing the hip flexors is a goal for many athletes. It's an area that gets super stiff.